Ladies and gentlemen, we are so back. Today I got the Platinum Trophy for Dark Souls. This is the third entry into my mission to Platinum every single Souls game. I've already done Elden Ring and Demon Souls, so after you're done with this video, feel free to check those out as well. And at the end of each video, I'm going to be ranking the games based on my opinion on how good they are. And I've been hella excited to finally play Dark Souls because it's like the most iconic one in the whole series. Pretty much everyone's heard of Dark Souls, even if you have no idea what the game is about. And if you have played this game, then you know the crazy ride I'm about to go on. But anyways, Dark Souls has 41 trophies, including the Platinum. It clocks in at about 70 hours to complete, and it's rated at an 8 out of 10 difficulty, making this the hardest Souls Platinum FromSoft has made to this day. And this is mainly because, well, the game itself is pretty difficult, even fucking brutal at times. It's also absolutely littered with missable trophies, and missing just one thing in a playthrough could cause you to have to do a whole nother one. Let's see if Dark Souls really lives up to its reputation. And if you want to see more videos like this, then consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. I've been trying to get more videos out, but obviously long games like this kind of make that hard to do. But without further ado, enjoy the video. Alright, wow, this is a familiar screen. Yeah, I tried looking up a funny character creation, but quickly realized that the customization in this game is hot garbage. So I just worked with the shit that I was given and made Leon from Resident Evil. If you squint hard enough, and if you're blind, then it looks just like him. I'm also doing another big boy strength build, so I went with the tanky starting class, and now I'm in. The game starts off with my dumbass stuck in prison after I stole a dozen eggs from the local grocery store. If you know, you know. But this kind gentleman gives me a key. W homie. And while exploring the area, I got the first trophy of the video for activating my very first bonfire. Then I went a little further and found the Asylum Demon, this game's tutorial boss. I tried to beat it first try, but that didn't work at all because I had nothing but a broken sword. What I was supposed to do was run past the boss into this door, grab my actual belongings, and then refight the boss. And along the way, I found the knight that helped me in the beginning, and he was in pretty bad shape. But before he died, he gave me a trophy. Let's go. Oh wait, no, he actually gave me the Estus flask. Okay, and after I did what I was supposed to do, I killed the boss. Let's go. One down, a lot more to go. Then I get kidnapped by this big old bird, and then I get taken to the main hub of this game, Firelink Shrine, where I get another trophy for arriving. There's also another thing to look out for in this game, and it's the covenants that you can join. These are just different factions available in the world that you're able to access through NPCs. Joining each one gets you a trophy, and I'm gonna have to actually level up in some of these covenants later to get exclusive items for more trophies. And with that out of the way, I was able to leave Firelink Shrine and actually start exploring the world. And while going through the Undead Burg, I found the next boss of the game. This is the Taurus Demon. He's not really that hard. I beat him on my first try, second try, third try, fourth try. And on the fifth try, without any outside forces intervening, I finally beat the boss. And only after 2 boss fights in this game, I can confidently say that this game is already harder than the entirety of Demon Souls. After traveling a little further, I came across the Red Dragon. Now this isn't a boss fight, but I did have to fight it and cut off its tail for a rare weapon in order to pop this trophy, which by the way isn't popping anytime soon. It's pretty much the whole reason why this video is as long as it is, and doing this is really only the first step of getting it. I then made my way into the Undead Parish, and this is where I found the next main boss of the game, that being the Bell Gargoyle Duo. And yes, I said duo. Shit, fuck me! Holy shit, these fellas were annoying. The first gargoyle was pretty manageable, even if its moveset took me a little longer than I wish to admit to figure out. But once this second fucker came into the fray, I was just getting absolutely demolished. I swear I tried my best to finish off the first one, but the second guy would just spam the same flamethrower attack over and over again, and I couldn't really get near either of them half the time. But I will say the Drake sword that I got from the dragon helped me a lot with this fight due to its ranged attack. And another important thing to note about this fight is that I had to cut off one of the gargoyle's tails to get another rare weapon. Ultimately, while I will say that I did not dislike this fight, I found the flamethrower attack to be needlessly cheap, and it just slowed down the fight to a grinding halt. But other than that, not a terrible duo fight. And with the gargoyles out of the way, I was able to climb to the top of the building and ring this bell. And if I ring this bell and then another bell that I find later in the game, a big door is gonna open to unlock a whole new part of the map. So this is the first step to doing that, and it gives me a trophy. Then I fought the Capra Demon boss, and talk about cheap, because 2 dogs are also in the boss arena at the start. But even so, I still beat this fight first try. I was able to focus down the dogs pretty easily, and then once the boss was alone, he was toast. Was it a clean fight? No. But it doesn't really matter. A win is a win. This boss also gives the key to the next area of the game, which is the depths. And if you watch my Elden Ring Platinum video, you'll know that I absolutely hate sewers. But luckily, these sewers actually aren't that bad. They're not good, but they were manageable. And this area houses the next boss of my playthrough, which is the Gaping Dragon. Bit of a weird name, but okay. I had to also cut this guy's tail off, so I hard focused the tail the whole fight. And once I cut it off, the boss was pretty much defenseless against back shots. So I just did that until the fight was over. And this boss also has the key to the next area. Now, unfortunately for my sanity though, that next area was Blight Town. And of course, this is the poison lake of this game, because FromSoft just can't resist the urge to put a damn poison lake in every single game. But let me tell you, some parts of this area have me genuinely tweaking. This area is pretty ruthless, but it's still somehow not the worst area in the game. And it also has one of the better bosses in this game, that being Quelaag. And no, not for the reason you may be thinking. You sick freak! This boss is pretty damn fun though. I mean, it's a spider with a fire sword. How can that not be fun? Wasn't super difficult either, but I did die a couple of times to her explosion attack because I just did not see that coming. And in the run where I actually managed to win, we killed each other. Absolute cinema. And beating the boss gets me access to the second bell to ring for that door to open. And just like the first bell, I got another trophy after ringing it. I then quickly stumbled upon one of the covenants I have to join, and then I went further down and wandered into what seemed to be hell itself, and I fought the Ceaseless Discharge? What the fuck kind of a name is that? That has to be some kind of semen joke. Anyways, the strat to beating this guy is to just run away until you can't anymore and then smack his hand repeatedly until he dies? I think he fell off a ledge or something. I don't really know. Moving on. But now that the door's open, let's get to that new area. Surely it can't be worse than Blight Town. This is Sen's Fortress. This area is full of tanky enemies, booby traps, and narrow bridges. Alright, sounds absolutely riveting, but how does it actually play? Is it worse than Blight Town? Well, I don't think so, but I've seen a lot of people online think otherwise. I was only in here for about 30 minutes and didn't find the path to be that hard to follow. The enemies and traps were annoying, but I played Souls games before, so I know they're cheap tricks. It ain't gonna work on me. But I did make it to the top of the fortress where I found the Iron Golem. No, not that one. And he is really tanky, but hitting his legs a bunch eventually staggers him, and then hitting them even more makes him actually fall down. Easy fight, but pretty fun. I liked it a lot. It reminded me of the Tower Knight from Demon Souls. Anyways, upon killing this guy, I was transported to the most iconic location in the game, and possibly the whole series, on Orlando. Wow, what a beautiful sight. So beautiful, in fact, that it gives you a trophy for arriving here. And it's in the main castle of this area that holds the most iconic boss fight in this game, Ornstein and Smo. I heard a lot of good things about these guys before I started playing, mostly that they're the best duo fight in the whole series, and they're also a very good challenge. And as soon as I reached on Orlando, I immediately recognized the area and knew that their boss fight was coming up. And then I actually found them, and they kicked my ass for about 30 minutes. I tried killing Smo first, but then Super Ornstein was proving too difficult for me to handle, so I tried the other way around. I focused down Ornstein and found Super Smo to be astronomically easier. I don't know why. Their moves are kind of similar in the second stage, but Smo just felt more predictable to me. And just like that, Ornstein and Smo were dead. I definitely agree that this is the best duo fight in Souls so far. And it just makes me wish that this is how the Godskin duo turned out, but unfortunately, they're still a piece of shit. I then went into this room and found... Oh my goodness! This is the most unnecessary gooner character design I've seen in one of these games so far. The Marvel Rivals team had to have been responsible for making this character. Anyway, she gives me the Lord Vessel, which gives me a trophy. Hell yeah. But it also lets me warp between bonfires. Thank God. After being absolutely spoiled with Elden Ring and being able to warp around wherever the hell I wanted, it felt so slow to have to walk everywhere. But on the other hand, it did make the world feel more connected, and it made me feel more like a part of it. But fast travel is nice, so I don't really care anymore at this point. I just want to move fast. I then went to fight the Stray Demon boss. This is basically just a reskin of the Asylum Demon, which was the very first boss of the game. Still easy as hell. I then entered the Painted World of Ariamis, and this is a secret area that could be accessed through on Orlando. There's actually no way to get out of this area unless you know the specific way, which at the moment we do not. And that brings me to the next boss, Priscilla, who actually knows how to get out but doesn't want to because she thinks she can transform the Painted World into a better place. At least that's what I got from from people on Reddit. They're usually right. Anyway, Priscilla is actually pretty chill. The fight doesn't even start unless you attack her first. And she even tells you how to leave, so you can just completely bypass this fight if you feel like being a good person. But I need to cut off her tail for a weapon, and killing her also gives me a trophy. So peace was never an option. Yeah, I'm really sorry about this, but wait, where the fuck did she go? Oh, hell no, that bitch went invisible. This is some predator shit. The only way to find her is by tracking her footsteps in the snow, and then once you hit her, she gets revealed for a little while. She's piss easy once you figure her out. So during the fight, I made sure to cut off her tail, and then I killed her first try for the trophy. Good boss, I like the gimmick, and I also like the area. I don't know, it just gives me good vibes. Then I went back to Blighttown to try to get to a secret area, and to get there I had to go down this giant tree, and these branches are so confusing to fall down without just immediately dying, but eventually I found the way down while still keeping some of my sanity intact, and this whole thing leads to Ash Lake, and this is one of the highlights of the game for me. I think this area is so cool, and it's so different compared to everything else in the game. It's also one of the only areas to have its own music track, which makes it feel even more like I just stumbled upon something really important. I think one of the only other locations that has music is like Firelink Shrine, but other than that, I don't know if any location just has background music. This game is very quiet. I don't really know the lore of this place, but I'm sure it is important. This area also kind of freaks me out, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have the words to describe it, but seeing like the massive trees in the distance and the seemingly infinite lake is just like unsettling for some reason. This feels like a location where you would just see Cthulhu posted up in the distance, even though in actuality there is no boss in this area, just this dumbass Hydra that I killed because he spits water at you and it's fucking annoying. But the actual reason I'm down here is just to join the Stone Dragon's Covenant, which gives me a trophy. I also cut off his tail for a rare weapon, and doing that doesn't even piss him off. Man just does not give a single fuck. I love this guy. But nah, this area is really awesome. If you play this game, go explore it. It's really cool. Then I found myself in another one of my favorite areas in this game, which is the Darkroot Garden. And there are two bosses that I have to kill in here. The first is the Moonlight Butterfly, and I'm not gonna lie, this boss is kind of a nothing burger. It just spams magic that is ridiculously easy to dodge, and then eventually goes right up to you and stands there until you kill it. I don't get it. I feel like I missed something. But fortunately, the next boss is way better. This is Sif, and he's just here guarding his master Artorias' grave. My understanding of this is that Artorias was consumed by the void, and Sif doesn't want anybody else to share that same fate, so he just kills everyone before they get to the void. And sadly, I have to enter the void, so Sif has to die. This is such a sad fight. He's just a giant dog. I don't want to kill him. He's a good boy. They even added a feature where Sif limps when you get him low enough. Miyazaki, you are a sick man. And killing Sif gets me another trophy. Not proud of that one. Also, in another terrible twist, I have to do 3 playthroughs of this game, and the entire reason for the third playthrough is just to kill Sif again to get another copy of his soul. This game, man, I swear they did it on purpose. Those psychopaths. Well, now that I can abyss walk, it's time to put it to use. I ventured to New Londo Ruins, where I fought like hell to get past these stupid ghost enemies. I seriously hate these guys. But eventually I made it to the boss arena, and I had to put on Artorias' ring and then jump down a pitch black hole. And now that I'm in the abyss, the Four Kings boss fight begins. This fight kinda sucks. It's just not that engaging of a boss. Basically how it works is there is initially one king, but periodically throughout the fight another one will be added to the fight until all 4 are in. And if you want to win this fight, you'll have to kill the first one before the next one comes in, otherwise you'll quickly get overwhelmed and die. And since you want to kill what's in front of you so fast, the fight essentially becomes a DPS check, and it even becomes detrimental to try and dodge. It's better to just go unga bunga and face tank literally everything. The boss also does less damage the closer you are to him, so that even further encourages that playstyle. But even with all those issues, the fight is still pretty cool. It's incredibly memorable to just fight a boss in a pitch black arena. It even caused me to lose my depth perception at times. Like, there were points where I genuinely could not tell how close I was to the boss, and I would just whiff an attack. Overall, it's a pretty mid fight with cool presentation. Killing him nets me a trophy, and also this guy appears. This is Koth, and he lets me join a covenant to get another trophy. Then I quickly went back to the Darkroot Garden and found this funny looking dog, and he let me join another covenant. Next up, I had to go through the Duke's Archives to kill the next boss, Seath the Scaleless. To get to the boss, I had to go through this giant crystal cave, and it has everybody's favorite, invisible bridges. It wasn't that hard though. Once I learned the path, it was kind of just walking across a straight bridge. The hard part is that once I entered the boss fight, I had to cut off his tail for a rare weapon. And the boss is literally too big for his own arena, which causes his tail to clip into the wall if he's facing the wrong way. And getting to the tail in the first place is a nightmare in itself, because the boss just keeps turning towards the player, so I could never even get behind him. And even when I did get back there, he just started slamming his tail all over the place, so I couldn't even cut it off. The most reliable strategy is to just bait him into using a front-facing attack and then booking it like Usain Bolt to the tail and then getting 2 to 3 hits off before backing off and repeating the process. And the tail should come off relatively easily if you do that. And the weapon you get from the tail is actually the Moonlight Greatsword, which is from Elden Ring. It was in Elden Ring first, and then they patched it into the other games after because the weapon was just so sick. Yeah, it's definitely what happened. That's a pretty cool piece of trivia. But once you cut the tail off, the boss is just insanely easy. I just out-damaged him and tanked most of the attacks, and I got a trophy for beating him. Mid-boss, but pretty cool arena, I will say. I also finished this NPC's quest line, which gave me the last sorcery I needed for the Collect All Sorceries trophy. Then I moved on to the Lost Izalith area. In this area, the Taurus demon and the Capra demon have become normal enemies and are all over the damn place. And after getting past them, I got to the next boss. And this is yet another reskin of the Asylum demon, except now there's explosions all over the place. Yeah, it's still easy as hell. They could give this boss the Blades of Chaos and it would still be easy. Next up, I found the Centipede demon, and this is actually a boss from the upcoming Elden Ring Night Rain that they ported to this game so they could hype up the new one. That's absolutely genius. The boss itself is, it's fine. It's just fine. There's nothing really special about it. But there is something very special about this next boss.
You do seriously surprise me.
Thank you, Chef. I was hoping you'd see that.
You surprise me to how shit you are.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the Bed of Chaos is the worst boss fight in this game. No, it's the worst boss fight in the whole series. As someone who still hasn't played 4 of these games, yeah, there's no way one of those bosses is worse than this fucker. How this fight works is that you have to go to either side of the boss and smack the glowy part, and then repeat for the other side. And once you do that, you have to jump down to its core and smack that, and then you've done it. Easy, right? No, because this boss has the dumbest attacks I've ever seen. The boss breaks the arena during the fight, and it just does these sweeping attacks that knocks you into the hole that it just created. And it does that over and over and over again. You thought you landed into the middle and are in the clear? Nope. The only good thing about this boss is that your progress saves no matter how many times you die. I think the devs knew how bad and just cheesy of a fight this was and just threw us a bone. Shit fight, absolute pig slot, but hey, can only go up from here, so that's good. Oh yeah, and I got another trophy for beating the boss. And then I got another trophy for unlocking all the pyromancies in the game. I then entered the Catacomb / Tomb of the Giants area, and this is my personal least favorite area in the whole game. It's just so dark, like you can't even see. This doesn't make for good video footage, and the enemies in the area are just really annoying in my opinion. These skeleton wheel enemies are the worst in the whole game, and I won't be taking any arguments about that. Like, these guys just genuinely suck. And then I fought Pinwheel, who was the hardest boss in the whole game. I actually spent 2 days learning this guy's moveset and still barely scraped by. Peak boss design. I have not felt this accomplished in a video game since millennia. But once I finally beat the fight, which again took me 2 whole days, I got the Rite of Kindling, which is an item that gives me a trophy, and I also just need it to beat the game. I also found another covenant by sleeping in a coffin and then ending up by this guy. Hello sir, may I please have a trophy? Thank you. Now look at this riveting gameplay. Can you see where I'm supposed to go? Because I sure fucking can. This fucking area made me crash out. I'm about to crash out again just recording the voiceover. So let's just take a quick break, shall we? Here, I went to the blacksmith and upgraded my Zweihander to the max level, which got me the first of many weapon upgrade trophies. I won't be going into too much detail about these because they're boring, like really fucking boring. But I will say that to upgrade all of them, you need over 200 Titanite ore and 100 large Titanite ore. Good God. And you also need the various colored Titanite and the Titanite slabs to max out the other types of weapons. But for now, I only got the strongest weapon trophy, and I used it to defeat Gravelord Nito. This boss is very cool looking, but the fight itself isn't really that great. There's a bunch of skeletons in the arena that just attack you, so that's not fun. But Nito's attacks are insanely easy to dodge and pose almost no threat whatsoever. Like, the skeletons are actually the hardest part of the whole fight, and that's just a problem. Come on, man. But I killed him and I got a trophy for doing so. I'll take it. And at this point, there's not much more to do before the final boss, so I started cleaning up some easy trophies before I beat the game. I started with a couple of covenants that I initially missed, and one of them actually leads to a secret boss, that being Dark Sun Gwendolyn. And he put all of his stats into intelligence because he just spams magic and then teleports away once you get close to him. It's an incredibly easy fight, and he doesn't really have any interesting moves in particular, but the arena being an infinite hallway is a pretty cool visual. And after bro ran out of FP, I landed the final hit and got a trophy for killing him. I then went and got the other weapon upgrade trophies, and this took an insane amount of farming souls in Titanite to get, and I may have lost a part of me doing all the farming, but it's okay because that's 9 more trophies down the drain. Then I took a quick break from trophies to enjoy the DLC, and the DLC has my favorite boss in the whole game, Artorias of the Abyss. This game overall is pretty slow compared to something like Elden Ring, but Artorias feels like he was ripped out of one of the later games. His moves are all really fun to try and dodge, and I think he's also one of the hardest bosses in this game. Not ridiculous or anything, but a very fun challenge that still feels fair, and this makes me really want to see Artorias get added into Night Rain at some point. I think he would be a great addition. Then I moved on to the Black Dragon Calamite, and I got this really cool guy to shoot him out of the sky so I can start the fight. This man has infinite aura, by the way. That is fucking sick. The fight itself was also pretty difficult. This DLC was definitely a step up from the base game, as it should be. And I actually prefer Calamite to most of the Elden Ring dragons. Then I fought the final boss of the DLC, Manus, Father of the Abyss. And this is the hardest fight in the DLC. This guy was stomping me for a while. He is so damn aggressive compared to everyone else. This whole DLC was really fun. I highly recommend playing through it, even if it gives you no trophies. But now with the DLC out of the way, there's only one thing left for me to do, and that's to kill the final boss, who in this game is Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. I think I was a little over leveled at this point in the game, so he was very easy to beat. I actually did it first try. And this fight is also actually really sad. This dude is so past his prime, he's like Mike Tyson. Bro could not handle all 17 inches of my Zweihander. And once he died, I officially beat the game, and I was able to choose between 2 endings, so I went with the evil ending first, and I definitely prefer this one to the other one. Leon from Resident Evil becomes a Dark Lord. That is some really fucked up alternate universe.
I'm sure you boys didn't just tag along so we could sing Kumbaya together at some Boy Scout bonfire. Then again, maybe you did.
Alright, time for New Game Plus. For New Game Plus, I had to defeat the Moonlight Butterfly and Sif to get copies of their souls so I can craft some rare weapons. I had to join another covenant that I missed, fight Ornstein and Smo again, but this time save Ornstein for last to get his soul instead of Smo's. Then I had to refight Gwyn to enter New Game Plus 2, and this time the Gwyn fight was much harder and it made me like it a lot more. This time he actually felt like a worthy final boss. I then picked the other ending of the game, which is for linking the fire and essentially becoming the new Gwyn, and I think that's also the canon ending. That's lame. Let me be a Dark Lord. Then in New Game Plus 2, I old yellered Sif yet again. Then I got the final miracle that I needed for the trophy, and then I realized that I missed one of the rare weapons, and it's located in the painted world of Ariamis. So unfortunately, I had to unnecessarily fight Ornstein and Smo again. But once I entered the painted world, I found the weapon, and I got both the Knight's Honor trophy, which required yet again a lot of farming for various different rare weapon drops, and also soul farming to afford everything. But since that was the final trophy, the platinum also pops. And that was Dark Souls, y'all. What else can I say other than that this game is a masterpiece? I loved every second of it, even if the second half fell off just a little bit. Not nearly enough to tarnish its reputation, though. But you know what? Maybe the real Dark Soul was just the friends we made along the way. But now it's time for the ranking. Again, this is the current ranking on the screen. There's not much competition. I don't know a single person who likes Demon Souls more than Elden Ring. But the real question is, where does Dark Souls fit in? Is it enough to capture the #1 spot?
No.
Yeah, sorry, Elden Ring is still the king for me, but Dark Souls 1 is an easy #2. Well, I hope you all liked the video. If you watched all the way up to this point, then thank you. I appreciate all the support on these platinum videos, and yeah, that's about it. Get out of here.